What's going on, guys? Welcome to Keeping It Blunt, another episode here with a very special guest, FF Hustler 420 on Twitter, the Fantasy Football Hustler. You could find him Twitter. I'm sure Instagram as well. I know he's on his YouTube. He's on Twitch. Just said he was an affiliate on there. So make sure you're following him everywhere. You can see at right there, FF Hustler 420 on the Twitter. You can see me right here at Perry Aston and Caleb to my right at CHS Knoll. Make sure to follow our podcast page at Keeping It _Blunt. And of course, brought to you by Unwrapped at Unwrapped Sports, Twitter, Instagram, unwrappedsports.com. Find us on YouTube, Twitch. You can find us everywhere. Facebook, please go like our page, subscribe to our YouTube, and stay in the loop with all of our videos from the network. We got tons of stuff going on. Caleb just got off Saturday Standouts. He always has it right before this show, so you can check out that college football mock draft there with draft season coming upon us. That was from the last one. But just wanted to thank everyone for jumping in and joining us. It's going to be a great show. What up, Caleb? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Took my car into the shop yesterday, just a little checkout after I just got her. Everybody found that out last week. So good news, I only have to pay $350. Bad news is I have to pay $350. So it's all right. It's nothing serious. It's nothing like I had to replace my engine or replace an alternator or something crazy expensive like that. But, part of having a car again, I love it. Just shedding money here and there. So just good stuff, man. Just enjoying the car, enjoying life right now. Went and saw some beautiful nature. It's starting to get warm again in Florida. Just enjoying it. And happy to have our guy, Fantasy Football Hustler, on tonight, man.
So a real name's Alex. To break it down, we aren't talking fantasy football today. You're going to see the real side to our boy here. He's breaking it all down, smoking like always. I remember I did a panel with him a couple weeks ago. He had the bong right there. I immediately said, all right, this is one of my people right here. We got to get you on the show ASAP. So how are you doing today, Alex? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I'm new in the game, as far as that content creation and stuff. 2020 is when I started doing my thing. I've been giving fantasy advice like on Facebook and Twitter and stuff for years and years, but stoked to get behind the mic because the other jobs that I've had, I'm always talking to people on the phone and things like that. And so glad to talk about other things besides just fantasy football, and love hanging out with my 420 peeps. It's where it's at.
Absolutely. 100%. And we're here to blaze it up today. Good vibes, talk about life, talk about everything going on. We're absolutely fantastically pumped here. So we have a roll-up, pull-up portion. As you guys know, how do we start every show? We're rolling up, we're pulling up. I'm having a great week. I know we just talked to you guys. I started the new gig this week, brand new brand that I'm working with. I'm in the restaurant business outside of here. I'm the general manager of a store opening up next week. I am loving it. We got VIPs coming in left and right. We had a photo shoot yesterday with models and influencers, all this shit. I'm living the life. I'm doing what I love. I'm in a group that doesn't spare the money. I'm there. I'm supported. It's great. Vibes are fantastic. My parents just bought their new house today. They finally got a new townhome away from the apartment life. So they finally just settled down, which is fantastic. My dad got a second vaccination. I can get my vaccination as of the next week. I can sign up. So good vibes this week. I can't complain, man. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll, just like the roll up, pull up, which we're going to get to it. Alex, what are you smoking on, bro? How are you smoking today? Tell the Keeping It Blunt community what you're chiefing on.
So I got two strains here that I'm smoking with the bong first. So I love rolling.
She's nice and clean, baby. She looks good.
Oh yeah, got to clean it at least like twice a day, man. I see these people with their brown and black water, and just I got to be able to taste what I'm smoking. I spent so much money on it. Got to be able to taste it.
100%.
I'm in SoCal. We got a lot of OGs. We're kind of spoiled here. So I got the Ultra OG, and then I got the Mercury OG.
Ooh. What do you got today, Caleb? Tell me your guy came through for you. I'll die if you say you don't have anything.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, he came through. now we're good, bro. I gotta figure out getting my weed and shit because now I can drive and just go pick it up myself. So that's nice.
I'm loving it.
So no more excuses or anything like that. So
100%. I'm not having you smoke any more resin bowls. I won't accept it anymore.
I can't believe I did that. It got me pretty high though, bro. I was fun.
Always will.
Yeah. So I'm coming through with good old trusty King Palm again, brother. I can't stay off of them now. I tried them once. Yeah, I can't go back to papers or bloods or anything else. So I'm enjoying those. And then I got my trusty bowl right here as well. But this time I'm bringing a little bit of a different flavor of weed to the screen and the people out there. And I've got, your classic perp. This stuff is beautiful, man. It's just super crystally. It's pretty much all purple. Good shit for getting it out here in Florida. So I'm excited to smoke up with you guys tonight. And where are you smoking on, Perry?
I have some new buds as well, my friend, and I am super
Not the
pumped
gelato?
about it.
Not the gelato this time?
No, I do have a little bit left, but we got biscotti right here, a nice little biscotti, as well as Godfather OG. So we are rolling up some fire today. I even mixed it in with a little bit of shake that I got, some cookies as well. I'm not a vegetarian, but I like a salad. So I'm definitely mixing up the weeds there. And I'm pumped, man. And we do have a good poll this week. I know everyone's on WandaVision right now. If you're not, I'm sure you'll catch up with it at some point. I'm not even a comic guy.
On it. Better.
Caleb knows I'm not even a comic guy. When at first I thought the show was about Wanda and her eyesight, whatever that may have been like a while ago. I had no idea who Vision was, anything like this. So I caught myself up. I watched. It's just beautifully produced, 100% spent millions of dollars on every episode. You can see it's just really well done, and you don't necessarily need to be a comic head to enjoy the premise of it. So I crushed it in a day, and we got the finale tomorrow. They're all 30-minute episodes, so it's not too hard to break down. Who will make a surprise appearance on the WandaVision finale? I'm going to see what you think first, Caleb, before, of course, we bring up our poll results. And I know we already told Hustler over here he's about to jump on it and start watching.
Right, dude. So there's an obvious connection between a couple different things, because this could be a crossover between X-Men, which is obviously done by Marvel as well. And then the one that everybody is talking about is obviously the connection to, good Lord, I'm blanking already on his name. It'll come to me in a little bit. Doctor Strange. There we go. The connection to Doctor Strange and, kind of getting the behind the scenes knowledge on Doctor Strange and how he ties into the Marvel Universe and everything like that. So all those connections were shown in this past episode, man. It was awesome to watch. It was kind of from the eyes of Agatha Harkness, who is obviously Agatha Harkness, who's a witch. It was a very interesting episode. Tons of, little Easter eggs in there that you can pick up on that can tie it to other Marvel movies, such as Doctor Strange, like I was talking about. But I voted for Magneto. I just think, at some point, he's got to show himself as either the dad. But I also like to see Professor X in there. It would be cool to see. But I'm thinking I'm starting to sway away from that because there's not really mention of mutiny or anything like that within the previous episodes. So I'm thinking more we'll see maybe a Spider-Man or someone that's associated with the Doctor Strange aspects of the Marvel community instead of X-Men.
Cool. No, I get that 100%. I am going to say I differed from you. I did not say Magneto personally, and I did my research. I found out he may not actually be their father, which is pretty cool.
Right,
we'll
because in that past episode, it kind of goes away from that.
It was misled. Yeah, I picked Captain Marvel. I think that it's not the most popular choice, but with it being a Marvel show and having the connection with Captain Marvel, especially with Rambo and her mom, who was I just think it's all going to wrap together. And do you have any opinion on this so far, Hustler? If not, you can comment on the poll results that we're about to pull up from public and see what they thought.
Nothing yet. Nothing as of now. I'm interested in the show, and I'm glad that it's only 30-minute episodes because that's
100%.
Real quick. So by tomorrow, I'll be up on it. But as of right now, I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. We're not just informing our people of this. We're informing our boy here, getting pumped. And again, a week ago, I was in the same shoes. I never watched an episode. I had no idea. I crushed it this week. So I'm a big fan of it right now. And everyone agrees with Caleb this episode. It looks like Magneto is the clear favorite, 47%. Like we mentioned, is he their father? Is he not their father? There's a whole lot of storyline there and a clear connection to her, obviously, and her brother. So that's the clear choice there. Professor X came in second with 21%. Another Caleb's second choice. Me coming in last with my Captain Marvel pick at 16%, as well as Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised for either. After Endgame, when they just meshed everybody together so much, there's so many different connections that you can pull. And predictions that you can make, stuff like that, to really try and figure out who it may be. But it's all just a projection right now. So we will see. We do have the finale coming up, and that's going to be our first bit of news today, some Showtime stuff. We're going to get right into some WandaVision before we move on to that. So I know Caleb already kind of touched on it with Agatha and, you know, her being a witch, her being the next door neighbor and really having, you know, a big part of that there. Give a little bit more of a recap on that, Caleb, just for what you're seeing and what you expect to see in episode 8. Oh, we got some people in here real quick before you do. What up from Antonio Monteforte? What's up, my man? Yeah, we got Venom. Can't wait for the Carnage from Russell Mavis. Thank you so much for coming in. Our boy Connie, Dr. Strange. And we got Hustler saying, what up to Antonio? We appreciate you coming in, hanging out with the boys today. So Caleb, take it away. Let's see what you think is going to happen, or at least what you thought about what happened last week.
So it's interesting because the whole story is based out of Agatha's lair, or her force that she's kind of, you know, created in this little area of wherever town they're in. And so it's kind of just based there the whole time. And it's kind of taking Wanda back into her past and seeing what's kind of led up to this point and where all this emotion is coming from that is, you know, exuberating out from her, and how she's able to control an entire town of people. And she's just using that. Yeah, man, I was texting Anthony at like 3 a.m., bro. I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh, y'all are watching this? Like, this is wild. But yeah, it is crazy. And so like it starts off, you know, we're there, and then Wanda's obviously under a spell. She tries to use her powers. She can't, because she's under this. She can't use her powers within this witch's, is what Agatha says, this witch's hex. And so she can't use her powers. She's strung up. And so Agatha takes her hair, which is something that happens in in a previous movie of Marvel where I forget who it is, but they take Thor's hair to be able to, you know, take Thor back to when his parents were still alive and change things. So it's kind of something we're seeing here with Agatha doing to Wanda, so that Wanda can go back and see her past, and Agatha can see it as well. So it's just a huge thing. Obviously, we go back, we see her parents explode by the Stark Industries bombs. That obvious ties to Iron Man because of Stark Industries. And then Wanda, there's the bomb in front of her and her brother don't go off. They're there for days, and so she kind of thinks she's put a spell on it, but we're not really sure. Right. We don't see a whole lot of anybody else. We see Vision at the end, so the Vision that we know, and you know, that died at the end of Endgame, and now the Vision that we know that's inside, you know, Wanda's hex that she has over this town. This Vision is not actually Vision. He's not real. He's just a figment of what Wanda was able to create. Because at the end, we start to see Vision be resurrected back to life. We're assuming it's Hayward, but we're not sure. And then on top of that, it's revealed that Wanda is, you know, most likely the Scarlet Witch, which is going to be an interesting storyline as well, because she's got her own separate sphere of the Marvel comic world. There's a lot going on. So it makes you start thinking of and asking a lot of questions. Obviously, the parents dying, you don't see Magneto there. And then there's so many questions. There's so many Easter eggs. There's a key door that's like purple and in Agatha's hex. And you can ask so many different questions during this. What about her children? Are the children just a figment of her imagination? Did actually Agatha get Wanda pregnant so that she was able to gain this emotional access to her or not? I mean, there's tons of things, but I'm not really sure what we're going to find out this next episode. They keep leaving you hanging no matter what. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's been like that every episode. I hope this thing's like an hour and a half movie. So we'll see how that's been.
100%. And Hustler, when he says hex, it's, imagine this big bubble, just the NBA bubble for comics. Like, it's just this massive bubble, and inside is this alternate reality, in a sense, that she's in control of. And there's just a bunch of things fucking with her on the inside, on the outside. You know, it's a whole fucking thing. So it's a mind fuck. I know you're gonna be high when you're watching it anyways. So, you know, I don't even have to give you that pre-warning. Like,
it makes it better if you are. I'll say that.
100%, dude. I'm all for it. I think the next episode, it's going to be like 50 minutes. I saw the runtime was going to be, but like we mentioned, the rest of them 30 minutes. Crush them. They're really good, really well produced. They spent millions of dollars on every single episode is what I saw. So I'm just real pumped to see the direction of how they keep taking this. So let's move on away from WandaVision. That was a fun way to start the show. So be honest with me, we were young, whatever. Did either of you watch iCarly? Not to say consistently, but you ever tune in, ever catch it up? So are you familiar with the show at the very least, Alex?
Yeah, familiar with it. I mean, Nickelodeon show. I mean, it was on for like 5 or 6 years, so it was on for a long time. It was just, I'm 35 now, so I was a little bit too old when it came on. I was
Absolutely.
by that time.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wasn't an avid, person that tuned in anyways. The only way I truly have a connection is my mom, who does makeup for the studios out in Los Angeles. She actually worked on iCarly for a couple of years. So I actually got to go visit the set just to, see her, meet some people. So it wasn't like I really tuned into the show, but I was able to visit the set. So I'm definitely familiar. It was around, like Alex said, for about 5 years. So Caleb, have you seen it? Jeanette McCurdy, the blonde one?
Yeah. Didn't she used to date
I was gonna say, if you don't know her, you remember that picture with Andre Drummond with his dick popping out of his pants, and then she's just kind of chilling there at that level, you know what I mean? So yeah, she said if they reboot it, she's not coming back. She said she's embarrassed by some of her old roles. What do you guys think about this? Because she was a kid. Like, what are you gonna go? What are you gonna be on when you're a kid? I don't know. iCarly was fucking lit.
It was. I mean, some people think, dude, and I guess that's what happened. Like, she's not like that type of person anymore. She's not into like the whole humor or whatever. So you don't really know. It
was just a bag. That's it. She said,
she was also a kid. She could have been influenced by her parents or something. So you never know. Like, there's things that happen all the time. And maybe at that point, all you want to do is be famous. So you'll do whatever to be able to get to that point.
After with Andre Drummond, you're not going back to iCarly. Like you moved on to much bigger and better things. Emphasis on bigger. So we're going to leave it at that one. iCarly doesn't deserve too much more time to chat on that. Mighty Ducks series. Alex, you've seen Mighty Ducks. I know for a fact.
Oh, yeah. So the new trailer, it's just weird how they do these reboots. I mean, I know that there's money to capitalize on. Who else is going to be in it, besides Gordon Bombay? But I don't know. They're just kind of reaching with some of these plots. Like, I dig it. They're trying to get the new generation in, then the old generation's going to, show their kids the movies and all that. But I feel like for anyone who's like in their 30s right now, you probably like grew up on Mighty Ducks to a certain extent. Right. And you're going to show your kids those movies, though, anyways, regardless of if a show like this gets rebooted. All these reboots that Disney's doing, I mean, I'm not really a fan. Like, even Boy Meets World, like, the Girl Meets World, like, I can't do it, like.
Yeah, it's not the same. Even Fuller House, like all those, it didn't fly. It's interesting. Yeah. Caleb, what do you think?
It doesn't. I mean, I'll obviously like watch it just because, I mean, it has Mighty Ducks attached to it. So
it sounds like you have very low expectations from what you're saying.
I mean, I don't have.
Like, I guess I'll watch it. I guess.
I mean, if you look at the originals, like it's like, okay.
How do you top that? Yeah, how do you top the originals? Like, that's how it usually is. It's so tough.
And everything, like you guys have mentioned, like every other reboot's been the same way. Nobody really cares to tune into it to see what it's like, and if it doesn't hook them right away, then it's like, oh well, like you tried.
I agree. I'm pumped. I think it'll be cool. And Anthony coming back in saying Caleb has no standards. Confirmed. Wow, I'm loving that. I mean, dude, he's got no expectations. I do have an expectation. You are following up Mighty Ducks, so you need to make this at least watchable. If you give me some cheesy, poor produced show, I'll be very upset. It's you got to put some effort into it. I'm not asking you to meet the standard of the last one, but come on, you got to put that extra work into it and make it, like Hustler mentioned, appealable to your kids, the younger audience, like people that haven't really came up on that show. You want to show them the originals, but then you don't want to be embarrassed to show them the one that's supposed to draw them in. You want to be like, I mean, it's different for sure. I don't think it's the best, but maybe your kids might fuck with it a little bit more. Golden Globe winners, any notable ones from you, Caleb?
Dude, all I know is I just came across this video of, I don't forget the comedy actor's name, but he won like best male comedian over what's his name from Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah.
The guy that's the dad in American Pie. I forget his name. Steve Levy.
Levy. Steve Levy.
Yeah. And yeah, and so Steve Levy, so he won it over him, and he was just like stoned as fuck. Like, and they're all on Zoom accepting their awards. He's just stoned as fuck, and he's like going on this tangent about the most random shit, just high, and like you can just tell. And then like some other actor or somebody's like, "Well, come on, man, like wrap it up," and he just keeps going on. He's just stoned in his own world, man. So that was a highly notable one, just because of the reaction. He was just absolutely out of his mind. I think it was the guy who. Have you ever seen Hall Pass?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the three of those guys.
Okay. Yeah. All three very good. I know. Obviously, the Schitt's Creek, like you mentioned, was nominated for everything. Absolutely everything. Eugene Levy was nominated Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Musical or Comedy. Didn't win that one. Then you have the next one, literally Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series, Musical or Comedy. You also have Catherine O'Hara, who won that one for Schitt's Creek. Wow. You mentioned that, he was snubbed from one of them as well, The Son. And then it just looks like almost every single one of them has something from Schitt's Creek, which is super cool. But The Queen's Gambit won. That was a big one. The Crown won. You guys remember both these two shows from the last year. The Crown, I think The Crown won multiple. Schitt's Creek won Best Television Series. So right there, that's where they took the home. They won over Emily in Paris, which I honestly have never seen and never even heard of. The Flight Attendant, The Great, and Ted Lasso, which I've heard of. So the two I've heard of are Ted Lasso and Schitt's Creek. So I'm glad Schitt's Creek won. I think that's dope.
That's what I was saying. It was Ted Lasso's the one that guy was acting in.
Got it. Have you seen Schitt's Creek, Hustler?
No, I have not.
It's good. It's one of those like cheesy comedy shows. It's kind of like Arrested Development in a sense. One of those vibes where it's like, it's cool. I'm not going to tell you it's like the best show in the world, but I definitely think it's like very cute. I think cute is like a good word for it. So we'll move on from Golden Globe winners.
Wait, shout out to Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. for his Best Actor in a Drama, I believe it was.
Yep.
Was it Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about that movie other than this. But when they were talking about it, they pretty much said that it's almost like he knew that it was like his last movie or something because he left it like all on the screen. So I mean, if nothing else, I'm gonna go watch it just for that. I mean, it's the last movie that he ever acted in.
Oh yeah, you just made me put that onto my watch list immediately. I'm gonna go. I think he's such a great actor and was so quick to rise. It was so amazing to see what he was able to do and didn't say a word about the cancer. You had no idea, and that's where you just don't know the struggles that people are going through. And we like to get deep on every episode and get through it because I mean, who the fuck's not dealing with mental health, some sort of sickness, someone in their family, someone going through some shit, and you're sitting there just going through the day to day. So you never know how successful someone is, how happy they may look on screen, or if that's on our level, if that's as big as getting to the Golden Globe Awards. You never know how they're doing. That's why it's such a shock sometimes when the Heath Ledgers of the world and all these different things where you're like, wow, there's such amazing actors probably living such great lives. And, they kill themselves or they go through some traumatic thing. And it's just, you just never know. So again, we say this every time. Our DMs are open. I'm going to speak for Alex. I know his DMs are open because he's just a straight great dude. And if you're going through shit, hit someone up 100%. And I know it's tough to talk about certain things sometimes, but it's crazy to hear that shit. So, you never know what someone's going through. And I'm glad that we're all having some good weeks right now, but definitely even with the sickness and stuff, some people, it's not even pride. It's just, they don't want to put that out there and they want to go down swinging but behind it, you just like, fuck, man, it's hard to take in. So make sure you're always not being an asshole and make sure you're always remembering that everyone's going through something. So cut people some slack every once in a while, and I think that would be our lesson of the day.
People are people, man. You just don't know what they're going through. So treat it like it, It goes
Right
back to that old saying we were all probably told as kids, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Or if you don't want to be treated that way, don't say it, something like that. It's just, you never know what somebody's going through, and that's the reason why that was taught to us.
And always check on your people 100%. Check on your people consistently. Hit them up, see what's up, see what's good. Just make sure they know that you're there, kind of thing. Even if it's not in some dramatic fashion, just like, hey, what's up? Something like that. You'd be surprised how much just a little check-in will do. And tell your people you love them whenever you can, 100%. So we'll move right into Caleb's Bachelor update with some sports. Yeah, we're jumping right into it. We're going to end it there with Showtime. I still consider that a movie or TV show. And some big news that will transition us into a little bit of sports topics, considering I'll let Caleb take it away. But somebody in the sports community is now involved with The Bachelor coming through. So it's something that if you haven't heard about it, might interest you, even if you're not a Bachelor fan, of course. And we got Monique in here right in time. Bring your ladies, Monique. Guys. We know you're watching. We know you're chilling with us, but we know that you're rather watching with your girlfriend to please them, or you watch it because you just like it, or you're a woman watching and we appreciate you and we're pumped that you're here. So bring your girlfriends, grab a glass of wine, kick the fuck back and listen to Caleb's quick recap of what's going down in Bachelor, and then we'll move into some sports, switch gears real quick.
Yeah, I'm dedicated for the ladies. So all the men can fuck off if they're watching it, but I do this for the girls, dude.
I just appreciate you for your dedication. It's phenomenal.
And I'm honest, so that goes a long way. But so it wasn't your typical Bachelor episode. It was Women Tell All. So all the girls that have been previously kicked off or left the show are all back in one room to talk about what happened over the course of the season. And then, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette shows up, like with 30 minutes left, and they get to talk to him and he has to answer questions about like what happened and shit. So that happens at the end. All the girls are going through the drama. Obviously, we're seeing Victoria be a bitch. She apologizes. Everybody thinks it's fake. The girl who started the rumor about the one chick being a dancer from Chicago, being like a paid escort from Chicago, she apologized, but like she didn't reach out for like months, and that was the first time she apologized since the show. So it was kind of like a low blow and not a good look for her. Bunch of PR moves, try and repair these women's images. It's all right for the most part. There's bloopers, a bunch of crazy bloopers of things we didn't get to see. Like they had to try and eat like 3 pancakes and then chug a whole pitcher of beer, and they couldn't do it. So like, things of that nature, things we didn't get to see, things the fans didn't get to see.
So not worth making it to the end is what you're saying.
This one was not worth making it to the end. Didn't contain all the drama. It was more like a PR statement for the girls and making themselves.
I'm saying that contest right there that you just said, the chugging beer alongside that alone is going to weed out some of the weed right there. I'm saying you can't hang that out.
Yeah. There's one where they had to take an egg shot, like they crack open an egg and take just a shot of the whole egg, like the raw egg. And there's like Katie I'm not even down. Katie was gagging and like puking and throwing up everywhere.
I'm not even down.
Kit got lost in the woods looking for Matt. That was pretty funny. Other than that, Matt comes out and he's got this fucking gnarly ass beard, like gnarly black beard, dude, like just so thick it's like doesn't look good on him at all.
Not a fan.
And then like one of the things that I found pretty hilarious and like weird is that apparently like throughout the whole episode I couldn't tell because his eyes were so low, but his eyes were open while he's making out with all of these girls. Like he watches them.
Yo, that's the creepiest thing that you've ever said. That's the creepiest thing. Yo, eye contact. Yo, look at me.
This guy.
Look at me, girl.
No, it's not like that, bro. They're like super low, but like open. So he's like staring into their soul. It's like weird, bro. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like all the girls like called him out on it. They're like, that's so like that's so weird.
Bro, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god.
Yeah, they straight out called him out. He was pretty embarrassed, but then they showed like bloopers, some more bloopers at the end. Matt busting ass, like things of that. He like tried to skateboard and bust his ass when it was raining outside. It was hilarious. That's pretty much the highlights. And then next week,
uber creepy.
Yeah, it is. And then next week we have another episode, an actual episode. Usually there's a break between. But we have another episode of the actual Bachelor, not the Women Tell All. And it's the 3 girls and they go on like honeymoon vacations with him. So Matt pretty much sleeps with like 3 girls before 2 days later asking another girl to be his wife. Which is
it's the name of the game. It's the name of the fucking game. You know what you signed up for with that show, plain and simple.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
I don't even want to hear it, homeboy. That's what
I just don't know.
There's
no way.
I just think there's no way. It's his whole life to fuck 4 women in the same week on television. He works his whole life to get to that point. You're not going to take that away from my guy. Like,
yeah,
plain
but
and
there's
simple.
no, that's fine. But there's no way. Like, how do you make that decision? Like, you've just had sex with 3 different women. How do you make the decision on one of them?
I think right there, that's how you make the decision, is by having sex with every single one of these women after going through months of dating them and saying who is not just great on a connection level, but who's good in the sack too. Like, that matters.
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely matters, but I don't think it's like.
So try out all the flavors at the ice cream parlor before deciding what scoop you want, bro. Like, this is.
I get that, but like, I get that too, but like, it's not end all be all. Like, the sex could still be good, just not like absolutely insane. And you like,
I don't know, man. That's necessary.
Well, just having sex is necessary.
I mean, you just spent months dating these women on camera and not having sex with them. And then at the end, they say, here's rooms, go have sex. And you're going to be like, nah, I have good morals. Like, no, you don't. You're the Bachelor, bro. Like, you signed up for this shit, dude. Like, if you have good morals, you'd be on ChristianMingle.com.
I'm not saying that. I just don't know how Matt makes that decision. Like, I don't know how Matt makes the decision to marry a girl at the end. Like, when he just banged all 3 of them. Like, what if they're all good? Like, what if they're all good?
That's true. That's true.
I don't know.
I don't know. You flip a coin. But
I guess a lot of them,
in front of you.
I guess a lot of them don't work out, like, apparently. So, I mean, I guess that's always a route.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the Bachelor update. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You didn't watch it this week.
So Emmanuel Acho, tell me about him as the host.
Yeah. Dude, so he is going to be replacing Chris Harrison as the host.
By the way, cool. Monique liked my coin flipping proposal, so decided to go with at the end.
Emmanuel Acho is a media personality. I'm not quite sure who he works for, but he's going to be taking over as host for Chris Harrison for
I think it's Fox.
So it's I think it's warranted. I'm a big Emmanuel Acho fan. I think he's a very personal guy. He really knows what he's doing in his job. So I really like the choice and then picking him, to be honest with you.
So here's what I like about it, to address the elephant in the room. The Bachelor just saved their ass with PR because of the fact that they just had some sort of racial situation throughout the last week or two, which is why he's not the host anymore. So who are you going to bring on? An educated, powerful, good-looking, charismatic Black man who knows what he's talking about. Like I said, well-educated, so he's not going on to spew stuff. He knows what he's doing, and he sounds great when he does it. He's an on-air personality. He wrote a whole book on some of these matters. So I think he's extremely well fit, and I think it's a great way to get some of these guys talking about The Bachelor a little bit. I know it may not be your fucking cup of tea. You know, obviously I'm a single man. I'm busy. Obviously I'm not currently watching it, but I've watched it in the past, of course. And, you know, to hear Emmanuel Acho is on it, I immediately sent that over to Caleb. I was like, yo, that's lit. Like, seriously, I think that's lit 100%. I love that. So we'll move off The Bachelor this week. That was a great recap for everything going on. Monique, we appreciate all the love in the comments. Guys, tell your girls, you know, come smoke the bong real quick while, you know, you've been sitting here for the last 30 minutes with us, and say, babe, it's okay, come here. They're going to talk about The Bachelor for the next 5 minutes, so come kick it. So, you know, we know it. We know how it is. So we're going to move on to a little bit more sports. Let's talk, we'll go through, before we move on to that, the JJ Watt left Texas, and he is now on the Arizona Cardinals, which we will touch on in a second. But why did he leave Texas? For multiple reasons. Houston was not holding it down for that team. Like, the organization was not doing well. But also, you know, his wife and him clearly are in different areas, and maybe that might mean he wanted a change. Who knows if his wife leaves Chicago, goes to a different team. I'm excited to see if maybe she ends up in Arizona as well. But end of the day, he just got out of Texas. What just happened in Texas? We'll touch on it real quickly. They just opened the fuck up. So I know we're all living in this pandemic, and I'm going to keep it with the athletes because you've seen tons of athletes tweeting on this. Des Bryant, you've seen Jamal Crawford, you've seen tons of guys going back and forth saying, I'm still wearing my mask. Like, what the fuck? Like, and how we open this quick and stuff. So it's crazy. I know I'm in California. My boy Hustler is in San Diego. Some places it may be a little bit more lenient, but we're barely even on the cusp of inside dining. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even have movie theaters open and stuff like that. So I really am shocked that it went like that so quickly, especially after everything that just happened in Texas with all the weather stuff, not being prepped for that, not really having a disaster plan or really seeing it through. Ted Cruz going on a plane to go to Cabo and then having to come back after everybody bashed him on Twitter. So Texas has been clearly in the news for the last 2 weeks. We don't have to get on it too much, and we don't love getting too political on the show at all, but does anybody have any opinions on Texas just saying, fuck it, let's get it? Yeehaw.
I think it's wild how it just happened so fast. I mean, it's crazy because like a year ago, like everyone was like, oh, this is going to last like a couple weeks. And it was, oh, it's going to last a couple months. And then like now we hear people like, we're not going to be ready until like 2022.
Right.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about everything. Like I work from home now. So does my wife. It's weird because my son has been going to gymnastics class, and the last 2 times that he's gone, he's literally gotten sick. Like after going, like not like sick, like COVID,
right.
Like that, but you know, they can't even keep their shit clean to where like, you know, kids aren't getting sick, like just going to class, you know? So San Diego, I mean, you said indoor dining, like there's literally,
we're not even there yet. We're on the cusp of maybe getting it back, but like we just got patio back, like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so that's all it is. Like there's literally like these restaurants where they're taking up part of the street now, you know, and like it's all blocked off, but like you literally are eating like in the street, you know. You're covered by something. They all have like, you know, stuff covering it, but wild like how everything is right now. So I thought it was crazy how it just happened so fast and kind of out of the
and so let me pass this over to my compadre over here who lives in the wild fucking West in Florida where they don't give a fuck about anything. So let me hear my boy's opinion, because like clearly me and Hustler have ours and we're in California, so we can relate, I guess, a little bit better to where we're both currently at, and that doesn't differ for what's right or wrong. It's just we're in the same state. So I mean, what do you feel about this? I think
like the
explain
feeling, like,
where you're at currently too. Explain where Florida is at too currently, because I know you've mentioned that. Like, I
was gonna start that. I mean, like everything's open. Like everything is open. Like you can go in somewhere. Like I mean, even the bars.
Oh man,
your college. Like, you just walk in, go grab a drink. It's packed. Like it's just how it is in Florida right now. Wear a mask when you go out. I mean, I still wear a mask, but you know, we're not like fully open like Texas. Texas, we still have like mask mandates. So we still wear that. But yeah, I mean, Florida's pretty wild, obviously. That happens, that occurs. But I see it, but at the same time, I see like there's a lot of people with vaccines, and like if you choose to wear a mask, choose to wear a mask. And I feel like a lot of people are still going to do that, even though like they don't want to. I think there's a majority of people that are going to do it. I think it might work. We'll see. I guess this is like the first real time we're seeing that, and I guess Mississippi did the same thing, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure Florida isn't too far behind now, since Texas and Mississippi went ahead and did it, just because I know how we are down here. So it's going to happen sooner or later, I guess. But if this thing spikes out of control again, we're going right back to the same thing we were.
100%. I think it's just extra wild for me because of what just happened in Texas. I feel like they just got back on their feet, and to just go back and say, you know what, fuck it. If we just had this happen, let's just go do it all. Like, let's just be the guinea pig for the United States and see what the fuck goes down here.
Well, Texas is kind of wild too.
Texas is red, you know, so like they, you know, they do their thing. So Texas is Texas. It's a massive state. Massive. One of the, you know, is it the biggest state, if not one of the biggest states, you know? So it's super big. It's I'm sure different parts of Texas too. It's going to be different throughout with kind of how they look at it too. You can't really generalize a whole state. You know, I mess around with Caleb, of course, and I'm sure there's better parts in Florida and other parts that they don't care more and stuff.
It's still the same people. Like I don't like it's just
for sure.
Florida. It's just how Florida is, man.
It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like we can't really have an opinion, I guess, too much right now because we're all just like following the rules, figuring out the fucks up, and like figuring out how we can get through this. I know you said you're trying to send your kid to gymnastics. Like I got to go to work. Like we're trying to live whatever pieces of normality that we can and we're allowed to. So I mean, whatever, I guess we do have some people that live in Texas in the network. So I'm going to be chat with them throughout the week and just kind of getting a gauge of how they're doing and how they're feeling about it and stuff without really giving my opinion on it, just to hear about how people are feeling in it. Cause I'm very curious at a place like me and Hustler mentioned, we just have like outdoor dining and things like that. So it's not like we got much. So I'd be curious to see how the fuck it someone, who cares kind of thing might work. I think that's dope. So back to JJ Watt, who said, Texas is wild. I'm fucking getting out of there and I'm going to Arizona. That is what he said. He said, hey, I'm telling you, from someone who lived in Arizona for 5 years, it's not like Arizona is heaven either. There's some fucking weirdos in Arizona as well. There's also some great people in Arizona and some awesome shit to do there. So, and that football team has revamped throughout the last decade with Mr. Bruce Arians coming to town. He turned that team from someone who was somewhat of a laughingstock back into a contender. I was there in Arizona while they were winning games, going to the playoffs. It fell off for a little bit and they made the right hire with Cliff. They went with the on-brand, young, offensive-minded coach and draft Kyler. They moved Rosen, who clearly has been a bust. So they were really, really smart on that. Wild that they went with that decision right there. But you heard Cliff Kingsbury with the comments from his mouth like a year or two prior. He said, if I had the number one pick, I'm going Kyler Murray. Then he goes to the NFL and signs with Arizona. They have the number one pick. And you're like, what the fuck? This might happen. And it happened. And plain and simple. So they got everything they needed. Then they trade for Nuke. They trade for DeAndre Hopkins. You're putting together, you draft well on defense. Budda Baker becomes a star. Hassan Reddick is a star. You have a Chandler Jones, who's an absolute tank there. And although the Honey Badger leaves, you fill these holes. So Patrick Peterson might leave too, and he hasn't been that productive for quite a long time now. So you'll continue to fill these holes. I've been very impressed with what I've seen in Arizona, and I'm going to pass it to you guys. I'll start with Hustler here just to tell me what you think about JJ Watt as a player at this point of his career and the signing. What do you think? Was it more of a money move, championship move? Just curious to what you feel about this.
So a little bit of both, because Arizona didn't make the playoffs last year, but I also think they were in one of the tougher divisions, in football, especially when it came to like all four defenses in their division were just fucking boss. You talked about DeAndre Hopkins going over there. JJ Watt and DeAndre Hopkins are boys. Like he knows something, he must know a little bit of something. I was listening to different podcasts and stuff, and these guys, there's no team that's ever going to guarantee a Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. Right. So you definitely want to go to a place where you know that you have a fighting chance. Last year, Arizona, they gave up the sixth fewest points in the NFC. And the Rams, that was one of the teams that was like the best in the NFC as far as giving up points. The one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is he's taken over Hassan Reddick's role. Like as of right now, are they going to keep Reddick and move him somewhere else? Or is it because they don't want to pay Reddick? Because Reddick, 12 and a half sacks last year. JJ Watt, he was like triple teamed on like everything. He still had like 5 sacks. For fantasy, he was a beast. He was still a top 12 guy. But if you're losing,
do you play IDP?
Oh fuck yeah, man! I'm on a fuck team defense, man. Like it's IDP all the way.
Fuck team defense. I feel that.
He's taken over Hassan Reddick's role, and Reddick, is putting up those kind of numbers. How much of an impact is JJ Watt going to have if you're losing Reddick also? So it's offseason hasn't even hit. That's just the first move, that they're making. But I like the move, and I like where Arizona just seems like they're making moves and moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's ultimately a money grab. for JJ Watt. He wasn't going to get paid that anywhere else. And
I heard
Arizona
he
has,
got offered money like that elsewhere as well. So it's
I
not like
mean,
that was the only place that was offering that.
I just think he likes the lifestyle and things of that nature and what's going on there.
Sure.
And like you said, he had that relationship with Duke. So that's a huge player as well in that whole process. I just think I immediately just look at him and Chandler Jones and I'm like, how do you what are you supposed to do? You have to choose one of them to double or triple team on every down. It's scary.
And if they can utilize Hassan Reddick, like we were mentioning, if they had all three of them,
right? I mean,
roster,
if they could keep him, like, good lord, they might have the best defensive line. That's a stretch, even with what LA's got going on, but
and the Buccaneers can make that.
Well, I'm just saying in that that division or whatever.
For sure. I mean, and Washington, absolutely has to be right up there too. Goddamn, like their D line is young and.
I just think it's good. It's a good move by the Cardinals. It's a good payday for JJ Watt overall. I think it's a good move overall.
You know what else could be a good payday for you, Caleb? MyBookie.ag. You go to MyBookie.ag now. Yeah, you see, you need to just pull out right now. Pull out while you're ahead.
Like I can't, bro. I can't.
You know what? I mentioned this to you. So this is where you can go, guys. Code USN100 will double your sign-up bonus anywhere from $50 all the way to $1,000. They will match you dollar for dollar if you sign up with USN100 at mybookie.ag. Make sure you're going on there for sportsbook, live betting, casino, racing, special contests, brackets. March Madness is starting. Get the fuck on MyBookie with code USN100. Sign up, gamble with your boys, do fantasy content with our boy Hustler. But if you're doing daily bets, make sure you're getting on MyBookie.ag, code USN100. And without the trending news, you'll see it. It'll still scroll throughout the bottom. So we'll put that back there for you guys throughout the show. And we appreciate you checking out MyBookie.ag. So take it away, Kaylee, with our next topic.
Yeah. Sad thing. Former Notre Dame offensive tackle Louis Nix was found dead. He was, being, seen as missing. And then all of a sudden they find him dead. I'm not exactly sure, but that's still unfortunate news in the sports world. So I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with him, but just would have said condolences to his family with everything that's going on.
He was a star at Notre Dame. Yeah,
he was really good. So condolences to his family, and hopefully it's not something serious or no foul play or anything like that. But we'll find out.
Yeah, again, back to having some shit news again on the show. There's always some crap with 2021.
Yeah,
another
definitely.
bit too. Another bit too.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I don't know much about Louis Nix. Do you know much about him, Hustler?
No, I don't know too much about him. I mean, just stand out. I know he's a defensive player, right? I mean, defensive nose guard.
He was an offensive
nose guard. Yeah. You're just getting hit in the head like every fucking play, like your entire life. And I don't know, like offensive, defensive line, like those guys take punishment like nobody even understands. Like literally every play, you're getting hit in the face, pushed in the face, or punched in the face. And I don't know, who knows if it was something, regarding CTE, but every time I hear things like that, like that's my first thought, like, damn, like, was this like CTE related? Is their brain like just, messed up? And it sucks because we love this game, but yeah, that's the ugly side of it too.
We were just talking about Vincent Jackson. What was that, a week ago?
It was probably about 2 weeks ago, I think. But yeah.
And like, you can trace it back to like even someone like Junior Seau, like who, I mean, a lot of people didn't even know like this stuff like really existed.
That's the first person who comes to my mind every single time. So
it's rough. I mean, Junior Seau for I've lived in San Diego my entire life. Like he's one of like the heroes, San Diego.
That must have been so hard for that community, especially too.
Yeah. If you guys have seen that ESPN movie, about him, like that's just something really great to watch, but it just gives you the insight into what these guys are going through, and like nobody wants to believe it. And imagine being on top of the world and then 5 years later your body just you know your brain's not right, your body's hurting, and you're not a star anymore, you're not famous anymore. These guys are going through it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
I agree. So
and there's somebody, you know, we all more know here, and that's Britt Reed, obviously Andy Reid's son, who is the linebackers coach for the Chiefs. Was in an accident, apparently right before the Super Bowl, didn't make it to the Super Bowl, where he admitted to drinking and driving on the scene and hit a car, and the 5-year-old girl that was in the car that got hit is very likely to have permanent brain damage, and the family wants the worst punishment for him. I am all for that. You completely injured somebody. I've actually got a DUI. I'd be very transparent with you guys, and that's something that I'm big on now. I don't want to do that. I don't like doing that anymore. There's no reason for it, because you can't think of yourself. You're being selfish at that point. You got to think of the other people. And, you know, hopefully he realizes that, because he's about to go to jail for a pretty long time, I would imagine.
Right.
And he should. I mean that. I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I smoke more than anything. And it's just when you drink and drive, it's just like a different level of like not having your reactions and anything like that. And like one thing that sucks is, I don't know, when you're in high school, like it's, you know, like everyone has that designated drunk driver, you know, to where someone is like more willing to drive drunk because they're better at it, you know. And I mean, it's one of those things to where, man, like if your friend's gonna like drive drunk, you like literally need to punch him in the face, and that, like, you know, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, because
I had that happen to me in college. So I've been there.
Yeah, and I mean it's serious shit, and like nobody should take that serious. Like I mean, nobody shouldn't be taking it other than like super serious, because like, yeah, like if he would have like injured himself like for life, like, you know, like you did that to yourself, but now someone who's 5 years old, like their entire life is different because you were an asshole and couldn't call an Uber or get someone else to drive you wherever the hell you were going.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Seriously, I feel like it's at this point too, with Uber and all this shit too, you need to be able to make that right decision. And again, I agree with you, Caleb. Go fuck yourself, bro. I hope for the absolute worst for you in regards to punishment. Seriously, that family is going to go through it for the rest of their life, and that's just something you took away from them because you decided to be ignorant before the Super Bowl, too, before like one of the biggest events of your career. Again, you have the opportunity to be a coach in the NFL because your dad blessed you with this, and you're going to mess it up because you want to be a moron. There's no remorse whatsoever from me, either these two boys or anybody that watches this show. And I hope anybody out there, I'm a guy for second chances for certain things. You can redeem yourself to a certain extent, but when it comes to something like that, it's really hard to really see any positive for you or wish for much. So I'll take the next one. Chris D'Elia, another weird kind of thing here as well. You all know what happened with him. Comedian, really funny guy, even actor for a little bit. Hilarious guy even, and unfortunately was caught up in some shit, you know, with sexual harassment and, you know, I'm pretty sure it was like sexual assault. I'm pretty sure it was a rape allegation as well, and you know, the pornography stuff as well. So here it pretty much won't get into it much, but it's like he allegedly has violated pornography laws. It's just child pornography. When there's smoke, there's fucking fire. So much shit surrounding this guy, and I'm gonna just have to believe something's true. Like, I feel like he's just a fucking creep. That's just me personally. I think he's hilarious, dude. Doesn't take away from his work. It's just as a person, clearly, like when there's smoke, there's fire, and there's multiple allegations. So it's not looking good for our boy. You know what I mean?
It sucks, but I mean, fuck people like that. Like, man, I mean, I just feel like, you know, just pedophilia is like got too normalized to where like I don't know what the fuck is going wrong with it.
So disgusting. Yeah, and it's like human trafficking and all this stuff has like become, like he mentioned, almost normalized, like to where it's not even that shocking when you're hearing of stuff like this, where we're in 2021. There's just a lot more problems than meets the eye that we need to continue to figure the fuck out as a society. And there's certain good people out there. That's why I gravitate towards the good ones, of course. But there's just some shit going on out there, guys. So fucking stay vigilant, stay on it, guys.
World's a crazy place, man.
Crazy shit.
People are getting canceled for a lot less than pedophilia. Like, why is that getting over the
100%, bro.
You see Jonah Hill go off on the media for
I
talking
didn't
about
personally. Tell me about it.
His shirt on when he was surfboarding.
Yeah.
It was like a smart ass remark. I don't even remember exactly what the headline was, but like it was smart ass about like Jonah Hill showing his like body and his tattoos. Like Jonah Hill, everybody knows what Jonah Hill looks like. Like it's not a shock to anybody, but like growing up being bullied for that shit and like being called names and things of that nature, he was like, I don't really give a fuck what you guys say anymore. Like pretty much to the media.
I just watched fucking Grandma's Boy like a couple days ago. He was so fucking huge compared to what he is right now. And he's still being body shamed, Like, I mean, that's what's fucking ridiculous. Like, we got all these things about, not body shaming women. Like, why is it okay to body shame men? Like, I mean, what are you doing to like younger people who like look up to Jonah Hill and they're like, damn, he's not even that big, and just like, I don't know. All it is fucking up younger people because he's already secure with what he was like. All his comments, like I'm fine.
And like you mentioned, he lost tons of weight. He had a dramatic transition, and you're gonna shit on him still? Like he didn't do any of that stuff. Like he's still the stubby, funny dude that we all knew when he was young. He made that. He got into a more serious roles. Wolf of Wall Street, although was obviously a comedy, 100%, dude. What the fuck is that, dude? And you said it best. Like, why are we body shaming anybody? Man, woman, why are we being racist to anybody? Why are we going at anyone for any of this shit? Like, if you're a pedophile, like Chris D'Elia might be, and you are someone that hits people, like hits women and shit, that's something where I can have that conversation where it's like, yo, he's fucking dead to me kind of thing. Like, what? Fuck those kind of people, like Hustler said. But what the fuck, dude? Like, what has Jonah Hill ever done to anybody? Like, besides just be a funny, good dude. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
like, why are you stepping on? And I'm glad he said something.
If you have something wrong with Jonah Hill, you can fuck off. Everybody loves Jonah Hill.
Fuck, dude. Like, who hurt you to not like Jonah Hill and try and call him fat? Like, who fucking cares if you're skinny or a little bit fucking larger and shit? Like, you know what I mean? I gotta pack on some fucking pounds. I'm way too fucking skinny right now. Like, I wish I was a little bit more plump. Like, what the fuck is that, dude? Like, I don't know. I'm all for fuck the media for that shit. So Illinois looking. Sorry, my dog going crazy, but Illinois looking to prohibit the sale of all violent video games. What do you think about this? I feel like there is quite a lot of fucking video games with violence in it. So what do you think?
It's a little wild. I mean, it's tough because shit has gotten a little bit out of control to where like a video game is like, an R-rated movie and an X-rated movie all combined, if we're talking about like a Grand Theft Auto or something.
Right.
And parents are going to buy it for their kids or whatever, but like that's on them if they're going to buy it for their kids without like knowing what the hell they're buying too. So I don't know how outlawing stuff like that is doing it justice, at all. I just don't understand.
And what are you opening this black market for people in Illinois? Like they can't just go to the next state and go buy a shit ton of video games and sell them to people? Like what are you doing here? This isn't some countrywide ban. I'm sure I could ship my boy a GTA. You could ship weed across the country if you really want to get smart. I'm sure I can put a GTA copy in a fucking box and send it to my homeboy in Illinois and say, have some fucking fun, my guy. Like,
yeah.
Good for you, Illinois. What the fuck is this?
It's so dumb, dude. I just thought it was hilarious.
Is that COD too? Would that be like shooting video games like COD?
No, I guess that would be more realistic, so I don't think so. But I would say, like, obviously, Grand Theft Auto would be on that list.
So a simulation of shooting people in real life wouldn't be worse than clearly driving around and picking up fake hookers.
Well, I mean, maybe COD, but then you got to think about, well, take away Fortnite. Like, I mean, I
I
know it's
mean, if you're gonna take one away, why not just take them all and make this fucking Korea?
Any game that
make
has
Illinois
shooter,
fucking Korea? What the fuck is this?
first person shooter, all of those are out. Like every first person shooter is out.
That's so funny and unnecessary. Illinois, just be better. Just be better. So Creighton head basketball coach apologizes for plantation analogy to the team.
Did you read it? Did you read the statement?
No, I want you to tell me about it because regardless of what the statement says, right, I'll try and pull it up right away without even seeing the statement, just knowing that it's something about a plantation comment. Like clearly, I already this guy's under my fuck this guy category. He's definitely under my fuck this guy category.
Nah, yeah.
So take it away while I look it up.
I don't remember what he said, but he said something about plantation. You can't speak about that like at all. So why are you even bringing it up? It's a stupid choice. You probably lost your team. You probably might have even lost your job. So if those things do happen, then good for the university in doing so. But we'll see what happens with him. I think he's definitely lost his team. I don't think there's any way they can bounce back from that. I mean, that's tough unless like he apologized to them separately and like things were different than the apology put out. We'll see.
You better have a strong ass bond with your squad to overcome something like that.
Yeah.
Not even just that. The fans, people that like college basketball, here we go. It's right here. He said, Greg McDermott says, guys, we got to stick together. We need both feet in. I need everybody to stay on the plantation. I can't have anybody leave the plantation. So I need everyone to stay on the plantation. If it ended there, that's still terrible. But at that point, I see he doubled down there and said, I don't want anyone to leave the plantation either. This guy's racist as fuck. So yeah, there's no apology enough to say this. What do we do on the show, Caleb? We keep it blunt. That's what the show is called. Not just smoking blunts. It's a double meaning.
I think he's probably lost his job.
Fuck this dude. It's 2021, dude. We just went through this and we're going to continue to try and progress forward as a society. But are you really going to make this comment, especially when you clearly have black basketball players on your team that sign commitments to you? And clearly the whole time you're looking at them just as members of the plantation. They can't leave the plantation. Like I don't see how this is salvageable in any way, personally.
Well, here's the one thing that I am glad about. If someone's that openly racist, you can just kick him the fuck out. I mean, he's probably been hiding in the weeds for so long and, who knows what he's been doing to people. So I commend him for being openly racist to just get kicked the fuck out.
100%. Just like that UCLA guy we were talking about last week, Caleb, where you said they saw tweets from him or like messages and he was talking about it in conversations and videos. And it's like, if you're just being a racist piece of shit at all times, then you're asking to, what did we say last time, not just get canceled, but to be painted as that kind of person to society, lose the opportunities that you've set up for yourself. Good for you. Continue being racist publicly so you can lose all your jobs and continue to lose your friends because they realize you're not the person they all thought you were. So we'll move on to our next one, which another tough subject here with Tiger Woods. You know what happened with him with the car accident. Really, really tough situation there. Transcending golfer, had his issues, of course, off in personal life, but that's his own personal life. When it comes to what he did, and not just that, he's a father, good father as well. You saw him golfing with his kid. Just a great guy. Honestly, someone that we grew up just idolizing in a sense as well, especially from the perspective of that sport. So it really sucks when you saw that. We all thought for a second we might have lost Tiger too. So that was gnarly. And obviously, luckily that didn't happen. But every golfer wore red on Sunday at the WGC Workday Championship to honor and support Tiger. And a lot of them did different nods as well. I know Caleb's more of a golf guy than I am personally, but I do like golf. I saw Tiger at the Genesis Open with my uncle and cousin Lucas, 2 years ago. So I was following him doing that thing too. So, I mean, I had VIP passes there and stuff. So I've done my fair share of, I do dabble in all the sports, of course. And when it's Tiger, a crowd follows. It's an amazing thing to see. And you could see the kind of mark that he had on all of these golfers as well. I don't know what golfer this was in particular. I'm sure you do, Caleb, but the one that did that backwards hat thing and then switched it back.
Tony
Yeah, Finau. Yeah, that was his name.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking cool. I thought that was awesome. I mean, I'll let you take it away, Caleb, as my golf guy. But shout out to the PGA for that awesome knowledge.
I wish all of them were red, but not like every single one of them did, just because they didn't like have a red shirt with them like for the trip at all, or they weren't able to get one,
or they just didn't have a fucking target within a 5 mile radius.
Yeah, but they have to be like their sponsored shirts or whatever. So whatever.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of these guys were wearing red, which was awesome to see. Tony Finau wear his hat backwards like Tiger did. It was cool. Yeah, I mean it was a well done match. I forget his name, not Matsuyama. Real young kid who just won the PG. He won the one out in Cali. I forget the name of it, but he won by like 3 strokes. So
Morikawa.
There you go. That just came to me. So yeah, good for him. I like the kid. He had a really good statement on Tiger. So that was cool about how much he meant to him. And he was like, we just lost so many people. I just don't think we take the time to say thank you. Like I just want to say thank you to Tiger and everything that he's done for me, for all of these golfers. And like just a very well said statement. And I was like, damn, I like this kid a lot. And it was cool just to see everybody out there wearing red, supporting him. Everybody thought we could have lost him. So scary situation. Glad he's okay. Glad he's recovering. Hopefully we see him back on the golf course, but that's the last thing on my mind right now.
Yeah,
I got a cool Tiger story. So I live in San Diego. Torrey Pines, that's his shit. That's his spot. So in 2008, one of my buddies who was an amateur golfer at the time, his mom for like a birthday present got him tickets to the U.S. Open. And for the very first day, he didn't have anybody to go with. He's like, hey, you want to go? So got to go to the U.S. Open. I think he's won one tournament since then, but that was the last big one that he won for the longest time. The crowds were freaking wild. Like just around wherever he was, there was a freaking crowd. It got to the point where I literally just went like a few holes ahead just because it was so wild, just to like.
Right. That's what I did at the Genesis Open. Absolutely.
That was
it's crazy.
That was the only way to do it. And so, but I ended up getting like a really cool spot on like a grandstand. It was one of his more epic holes of the entire tournament too. So I don't even know how it worked out the way that it did, but he shanked it off the tee. It was a par 3, shanks it off the tee, goes like right into the tree or something. And then just from out of nowhere, just sinks it in and still birdies the hole. Like it was just like wild. Everybody was going crazy for it. And so it was cool. That was my one Tiger moment where I got to see one of the more epic holes in his last tournament, in his last winning tournament.
That's awesome. Seriously. And I shout out to Tiger. I hope he's going to make it out and not even return back to golf, but just live a great rest of his life and make it a 100% great recovery. That's all we can hope. Soulja Boy, Randy Orton beef. Tell me about this, Caleb.
This is hilarious. So Soulja Boy called WWE fake, and Randy Orton responded. I forget what happened from that, but I thought it was funny.
That's hilarious. So Soulja Boy back in the headlines. Do you guys realize he got, I'm pretty sure, all of his face tattoos removed? So he looks.
No, I didn't know that.
Super different, or at least some of them. He just looks different.
I think Randy Orton said something along the lines like about something with his music being fake. Like you're like not that big. Like they look like dogging on him somehow.
I mean,
the one thing that I don't get is, I mean, I'm huge into wrestling. Like, man, back in the Attitude Era, like WWF, like, when Stone Cold and The Rock were in their heat. I mean, it's a scripted show, yeah, but like the outcomes may be determined, but I don't know how you can consider any of that like fake. I mean, if you saw any of the ladder matches, I mean, do
you all not remember Jeff Hardy fucking diving, doing fucking back?
Yeah, no, I look
off of a top steel cage onto somebody on a table.
They're like stuntmen. They're like stuntmen. We're actually actors and can carry a storyline and put their body at risk. Like that's pretty much how I look at them. Athletes, of course, but stuntmen, where it's not fake at all, 100%. Yeah,
It's like Brad Pitt versus and Leo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like Leo's the fake one, like Brad Pitt's the one who's like really real, but nobody really knows about it.
Right. Yeah. So we got 2 Chainz, Lil Baby versus Quavo and Jack Harlow in a basketball game on Saturday.
Who you taking?
I'm gonna take Quavo and Jack Harlow because Quavo's a boss with sports, and Jack Harlow's been hooping lately. Tell me you guys saw that interview he did with Drewski. So it was like after a game. It was the funniest thing. He was just hitting on him the whole time. It was all totally a joke, but he would be like, you know, Drewski, that big ass dude, that big black dude's fucking hilarious. Makes all those YouTube videos and stuff. I'll show you guys who he is in a little bit, but I will. But he literally was interviewing, was like pretty much asking about the game, and Jack Harlow was like, "Bro, you're just so fucking sexy, bro." And he was like, "Yo, what?" He was like, "Bro, I can't even keep my eyes off you, bro. Like, what the fuck?" He's like, dude, Drewski was sitting there just like, "Yo, is this guy for real? Like, I'm here to talk to you about the game." He was like, "Bro, I've been waiting so long for this fucking moment. Like, holy shit, bro. Like, dude, it was the funniest thing you've ever seen, bro. He was just trolling the whole time." Jack Harlow's fucking funny. He's fucking funny.
I like Jack Harlow. I mean, I follow him and I listen to his music and stuff. So I like Jack Harlow. He was just on or whatchamacallit library, Quiet Library, or whatever that thing is.
Right.
Where they sing in the.
I think he's so funny.
I'm betting against 2 Chainz. He just doesn't look like an athlete to me.
Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore.
2 Chainz played D1 basketball.
Can I explain? Can I explain to you what 2 Chainz did in D1 basketball? Because I looked it up already.
Yeah,
he averaged like 3 or 4 points a game. It was like 3 points and like 1 rebound and like some shit like that. So like, homeboy sucked ass. So we're just gonna say that straight up. Shout out for you going to.
He was just tall.
He's just tall. He's just tall. That's it. He had the build.
Smokes, dude. You know, 2 Chainz smokes. He's gonna be struggling.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He smoked a fucking ounce before the game, and he's trying to hoop. Like, you serious right now? There's no way that the edibles in your system are gonna help you. Like, that's not pre-workout, dog. Like, Quavo, we just talked about him starring with De Niro in that movie as well. So now he's gonna go hoop again. Like, he's just so all over the place, which is so cool to see the kind of talents that he has in so many different areas. So we'll move on.
Do you think Lil Baby's good?
I'm not gonna shit on Lil Baby because I've never seen him play. You know, like I didn't think J. Cole would be as good as he was until I saw him hoop. Like, you never know how good these guys are until you actually see them. But
he just doesn't look
man. Jack Harlow's been hooping, so there's no way that they're going to stack up Quavo and Jack Harlow if Lil Baby's ass and 2 Chainz wasn't that good in college and is way old now. So like, there's no way that's going to be fair unless Lil Baby's kind of wet. I feel like he's got to be wet.
Yeah, he's probably really quick. He's probably fast.
So, you know, in LA, I'm one of the biggest Kobe guys in the world. Growing up with him, of course, star in LA, big part of LA culture. Rest in peace to, you know, the being the GOAT. So Kyrie, who is clearly vocal all the time, we know Kyrie is doing his thing. He says that he wants Kobe to be the new NBA logo. Obviously, it's been a thing on Twitter. We've seen it. What do you guys think about Kyrie trying to pitch Kobe to be the official logo for the NBA? Are you for it or not?
I'm for it. I mean, if he was still here, I don't think that this would even be in conversation. But him being gone now, I mean, it's something where it's a little bit of a passing of the guards. I mean, not that Jerry West wasn't like one of the best who's ever played the game, but
right,
we're in a different, it's a different time now. And if we're going to try to attract some more youth, take the NBA to the next level globally, I just feel like Kobe being the face of it is definitely a good thing.
Caleb, what do you think?
Yeah, you're talking about it like that. I mean, you talk about globally, your sales are going to go through the roof. So just, financially speaking, that's a positive for you. I mean, but at the end of the day, it makes total sense because of what Kobe has meant to so many different people. And being able to do that and honor him that way in fashion goes a lot further than, Jerry West does on that logo. So, Jerry West is a good player, but Kobe and the way he went out and the admiration and inspiration that he provided people were beyond what Jerry West probably ever did in his lifetime as a whole.
Right, and Kobe being as transcendent as he is as an individual as well. But one thing that I will point out is that the NBA will never admit that Jerry West is the logo. They've never paid Jerry West or the West family a dime for him being on the logo. So that's one thing. They used his silhouette without actually announcing that they used it, and never will. So what I see is there's two things to this. One, Vanessa Bryant, who is very vocal about what she finds acceptable and what she'd prefer not out there and stuff, which is great because she deserves everything that she needs and however she needs it. So for us to be able to respect that as a society is clearly the best move possible. So first off, to see if this is something that she'd even want to even have the conversation with about, it'd have to be, up to her and everything like that. And with the NBA, as cheap as they are and not paying Jerry West and not having that ever be clearly announced, who knows if they'll even entertain the idea of having to do that and potentially compensating the Bryant family, which is sad because as an NBA pitching as the NBA family, they should do that. That would be a great gesture to be able to financially help in any way they can, although clearly they're not in financial help necessarily, but that would be, or financial need, but that would say that would be an awesome gesture. And like you mentioned, Caleb, ticket sales would continue to go up. Jersey sales would go up like crazy. You'd want to go get any jersey that had that new patch on it and stuff like that. So I think internationally in China, Kobe's been such a big name and people idolize him out there in so many places in the world. So I think international jersey sales would go up. I think it'd be a fantastic move. And Kyrie says a lot of outlandish things, sometimes says a lot of great things because Kyrie's a great person off the court, no matter what anybody really says. He's given back to so many different parts of different communities and he has strong opinions. So be it. And I respect Kyrie for a lot of different things, of course. And with him wanting this from a man from LA who grew up idolizing Kobe as well, I'd love to fucking see it personally. So we'll see. I think the NBA would be hard to even get that past them. Speaking of another NBA god in Los Angeles, LeBron James currently still here playing against Zlatan. I'm going to say, is it
Zlatan
Ibrahimovic? Is Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
Ibrahimovic.
I think I said it on the money. Yeah, I said it on the money. So they had some beef here. I mean, obviously we try not to get too political again, but LeBron he doesn't want to just shut up and dribble. He's more than an athlete. It's been something that he's deemed his mantras and made campaigns around and done some amazing things. And he's been very vocal, as well as thousands of other athletes with different things that have gone on throughout the last year when that came to Black Lives Matter, even the election, because of how things were kind of going and with the White House, with them visiting. So clearly they had some say in certain areas. But so Ibrahimovic pretty much says, leave politics to politicians and stick to your sport. So I'm just going to open that up to you guys to ask you, Caleb, I'll start with you about what you think personally about his comments there and on LeBron coming back saying, I'm educated on the matters. I'm the wrong person to come at because I do my research. That was his pretty much exact response. So what's your opinion on the matter, if you have one?
It makes complete sense for what Lou said. Point where things where Zlatan is from aren't like they are here, where that is like a more common thing for people to do, is to stand up and speak up, for what they believe in. Right. And so, that's what I put it as ultimately. But if you, like what you were saying earlier, if you don't know much on the matter, don't speak on the matter. And obviously Zlatan doesn't know enough about the matter to be able to speak on the matter, or else he would. So that is what it is. He also has in the past put like victims' names, like fake tattoos on himself, and taking his shirt off at a game in a match before. So that's standing for something. So I don't know. It's kind of out of left field from him.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely weird. And we're going to move on to another very weird topic. New York Governor Cuomo under multiple accusations of sexual harassment. So if any of this is true, he's going to go right on that. They can go fuck him list, piece of shit list that we've been creating throughout the show. But
Yeah,
I
lots of
don't
pieces.
have
Lots of
I
pieces
don't
of
have
shit.
much of an opinion because there
Lots of
hasn't been another accusation on this before. So it's not like Chris D'Elia where this is now multiple things, and when there's smoke, there's
Right.
fire. So I'm not going to be so quick to the trigger while it's an
Well, there's been 3 women.
accusation. But yeah, I mean, again, if there's 3 and there's all this stuff, again, I feel like when there's smoke, there's fire. I know with our system, you want to make sure you're innocent until proven guilty. But at the same time, if there's anything with sexual assault, anything with pedophilia, anything with racism, you can go right there on our list of go fuck yourself, and we want absolutely nothing to do with you. So I don't know, not a big politician or politics guy personally, but hearing this kind of stuff, it's a man in power. It's always so to me, and it's just again, smoke, fire. That's how I see it. What do you think, Hustler?
I mean, just in politics, I mean, we all know that there's like dirty shit that goes on behind the scenes. Like, who knows if it's actually true? But like you said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, it's not going to come up if it would 100%, like, if it just wouldn't fly. Like, people would be like, oh, there's no way. But none of these politicians are squeaky clean. So, I mean, if there's like even 1% of doubt, like, yeah, like you should be taken out of, just should be chopped down at the knees and have to prove that it's not the way that it is just to get back like on top. I mean, it sucks. And I have one more before you move on, like someone to add to this shit list of news. Kellen Winslow Jr. got sentenced to 14 years for all his different like rape charges and all that.
Good. That's it?
It should have been more I think it was 4 or 5 different like people or something that came out about him. But yeah, there was a bunch of shit about him. This scumbag.
That's fucking shit, man. Again, that's not just smoke and fire. There clearly he was put to trial for that. Everything was showed. So he's right there at the top of the piece of shit list for us that we've created on that. This is the title of the episode, Piece of Shit List with Hustler. You know what I mean? And Life with Hustler. So I got, it's not showing up because we stream on multiple places. Again, if you're not on YouTube, check us out on Facebook, check us out on Twitch, check us out on Periscope still. I believe they're folding at some point, but it's still going right now. I have someone in my stream on Facebook that I can't pull up because it's not on the Unwrapped stream. Lauren Rebecca, someone I went to college with, saying, hi, Perry babes with a heart. So appreciate the love. What's up, girl? How are you? Thank you for tuning into the show. Very much appreciate that, Lauren, for sure. So I'll message you after to see what you thought about the show. We'll connect. So I appreciate that. And remember, as well, if you appreciate us, you need to go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/unwrapsports. Again, check that out. We're going to pull it up for you right here. We have multiple tiers for $1 a month. You can support us for doing our thing. It's $1. That's $12 for the year. Buy us a meal if that's anything for the year, and tell us what's up. We don't give perks for that. That's just to hopefully support us, show us your love. The Unwrap family right there, $5 a month. You get 10% off our shop at teespring.com/store/unwrapped. We have Keeping It Blunt apparel. We have all this stuff from the network, beautiful designs on there. So please go check it out. Men's, women's, teespring.com/store/unwrapped. 10% off there. Access to our 24/7 Patreon, only Discord chat, which Hustler's in. I know a bunch of us are in there. It's the first month for it, so it's growing. Of course, we appreciate everyone that's jumped in already. We're going to keep adding people in there, keep bringing up cool conversations, talking about tons of different stuff. Hustler sees the different things we talk about every day. And there's jersey giveaway. After this episode, I'm going to be deciding who gets that Keenan Allen signed jersey from month 1. And I'm going to be showing you guys the David Montgomery signed jersey all over social media starting tomorrow. I'll be pulling it up. We'll be doing videos because that's going to be for the next month. And I'll be announcing the winner as well. So that's going to be for the $10 one there, as well as 20% off and that Discord chat that you're going to be in with us. And we also do a $10 Amazon card giveaway for both the $5 and $10 tier as well. So again, patreon.com/unwrapsports. We appreciate you checking us out on there. Please go support us and what we do. We have a great time doing it. So moving on to the next topic here, Mr. Potato Head going gender neutral. Whoa. I'm just going to open this up to Caleb first. What do you think, bro? Take this away.
Pretty wild. I mean, there's a bunch of shit being canceled right now that I never would have even imagined would be canceled in my lifetime. Like I would like, oh wow, that's interesting. It is what it is,
Wow.
but nobody said anything about Mrs. Potato Head. So I isn't that a gender as well? So if you're gonna like at least do it even, but cool. I think it's funny.
It's a toy. There's no gender either way. It's a toy.
Like what I'm imagining, dude, is like what I'm imagining is like you go to the store or whatever. Like you take your kid down the aisle with like the action figures to give us a Potato Head, and there's a Potato Head is just Potato Head, and then you got to buy like a separate pack with like genitals, and you get to choose which one you get to put on Mr. Potato Head.
Because I'm all for transgender. I'm all for gender neutral pronouns, everything. I'm for LGBT. I'm all for all of that, 100%. And I get that there's certain things that should be changed, certain things that shouldn't. I'm not going to say it shouldn't be if people feel so strongly against it. But I think I'm with Caleb on. It's just kind of funny because I guess I just didn't expect Mr. Potato Head to be in the headlines. Like, if you would have asked me at the beginning of our show, this is episode 8, you would have said 2 months ago, would we talk about Mr. Potato Head, about his gender in any capacity throughout our show? I would have said, why the fuck would we be doing that? But it's because there's notable news. So it's just funny, and we're fully supportive of if it's something that people are passionate about and something that they want to make the change for, do it. Go for it. It's just we weren't expecting it, I guess, is really our thing.
You guys have to understand we come from a time where we like
it caught us off guard, guys. Yeah, it's not like it caught me. I saw this. It's like, Caleb, I had no idea. Like I feel bad now for addressing him as Mr. Potato Head for as long as I did. Now it should have just been potato.
I'm like, oh God, that's crazy.
That's nuts, man. I love this world that we live in. I really do.
This is how the Mandela effect, like 10 years later, like people will be like, was it really called Mr. Potato Head? And then like everything's going to be erased from like Mr. Potato Head, like everywhere.
No, I'm telling you.
Mr. Potato Head got canceled in 2021.
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head. We're on to the Potato Head. Gender neutral. Amazon switches the look of the app icon after people compare it to Hitler's mustache. I'm Jewish. I never once thought this was anything having to do with Hitler's mustache or anything against my religion. I'm so confused how people took offense to this. And I looked at it again. I said, I don't get it. It just, I guess, but that's what's upsetting you. How long have we been stuck at home for this to be the top of the worry for some people? What do you guys think about Amazon with changing their look?
Someone has a lot of time on their hands, like you said. Like people are at home, they're very bored. I don't get the correlation. I'm not Jewish, but I don't get the correlation to that.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, what is this?
It's just like one of those generic like shapes you pull off of Word and stick on. Stick on something. I'm just like
people, man. This is so fucking funny. I love that we went from the Potato Head concept into the Amazon Hitler mustache icon controversy. That's just quite the transition there. Amazon apparently do better. Although I think you did nothing. You did nothing, but good for you. It's always disaster control now. No matter what, if someone says one thing negative, you're like, all right, let's just get out of this. Let's do can we just change it to like, can we change it to like a white screen with like an A? Would that work for you? We could just do it. Amazon starts with an A. Would that work? And they're like, nah, man. Like A is like the first letter of this that's offensive to certain things. You're just like, fuck, man. I just wanted to do an A on a white background. So apparently, people just get way too worked up nowadays. We're moving on to Instagram likes. Take this one away, Caleb. We were talking about this one earlier.
Okay, so they're back.
They're back. Off guard. What happened?
I don't know. Apparently, they shut them off for like a period of time on accident for like everybody. So I guess they're like trying to set up a setting where you can and then shut it off for everybody. And I was on a phone call with Perry today, and Perry, you had me laughing my ass off at work. You were like, I was just like, I know my homeboys are cooler than that. Why they only got like 2 people?
I literally looked and said, It's been 7 hours. My boy is popping. Like my boy does life right, and that's a cool photo. I think he did the whole post and shit right. And my boy's got 1 like. You're gonna tell or no, he had no likes. I said, you're gonna tell me he got no likes on this shit. So I thought it was like I swiped up, just keeping going. I'm like, all right, this is just fucking weird at that point. But I didn't look into it too deep. So I was super high and just thought, all right, Instagram must have just done crazy shit, or my boys are just like they fell off hard. Like my boys are down hard. I haven't posted in a minute, so I thought Instagram rather RIP'd us all with having any attention and any look. They were just like, you know what, we're all on the same playing field now. No one knows if you put in years on these platforms to see how much attention you get. We're just gonna have everyone there on the same level, swiping with no one liking anything. Everyone's just gonna be there in purgatory and just look at these fucking photos and memes and have a good time together, guys. Like no one can like anything.
It's gonna turn into like a Reddit meme page. Like like people aren't gonna post pictures on there anymore. They're just gonna come out with a new app and they're gonna be like, oh shit.
I'm pulling it up right now. I'm seeing if it's back. All right,
It is back. It's back.
It's back. Well,
People like seeing their likes.
Like we're down bad in 2020 and 2021, but not 0 likes bad. We're not down bad like that. Come on, I'm still popping a little bit. We're still.
I think no matter how many likes you get, you like your likes. Like you like your likes. Like that's
at that point, I'm liking my own photo. I'm like, all right, no one's liking my shit. Like, bet. Like, I'm just gonna go like my own thing. I'll just go fuck myself then. How about that? Like, how about I just go and do my own thing and I'll just go show myself some love. How about that? So we're gonna move on to the new paid subscription service on Twitter. Hustler, have you seen this?
I haven't. No.
It's very interesting. Twitter's been up to some stuff. They have Twitter Spaces, and they're doing testing with it with certain people where it's almost a Clubhouse. That I don't know if you guys have Clubhouse or not. If you don't, I actually have a couple of invites. If you have an iPhone, I'll totally hit you with that. Do you have an iPhone, Hustler?
Yeah, I got Clubhouse, and I know what you're talking about now, and I have seen it. I just didn't correlate it.
Yeah, it's like a little thing in there, and you can hang out in a space. So I jumped into 2. They weren't really doing much. I was just there with some other people, and it was interesting. You can try to be a speaker, or you can kind of just be there in the audience. So Twitter Spaces is cool, and they're gonna try and do a paid subscription system where you can maybe get, if that's like $5 a month for, I don't know if that's all your content or premium content, where at that point that would almost be a Patreon that's kind of integrated into Twitter itself and kind of like a YouTube. So I think it's a very interesting concept to try and see. We got the kid appearance. So what's the kid's name?
Noble.
Oh, I like that.
What a name, bro. You got Noble. I love that. So what's your last name?
Marino.
Oh, Noble Marino, bro. You got to get this guy acting in like 2 seconds, dude. That guy's gonna be, you set him up, dude.
He's a superstar. He already knows like Michael Jackson dances and got like the routines down. He's 4 years old.
Let's go.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Kid success. I'm all for kid success at an early age. That's phenomenal. You got Daddy Hustler over here who's always killing it. So I would pay for certain people on Twitter. I think if it was to support, if that was buddies, if that was to support connections of yours, if that was to pay for someone that you very much enjoy, that might be a bigger personality, social figure of some sort. I feel like that would be pretty cool. If that just ended at a donation system, I would still be okay with that, because if you don't have to donate to get their content. But if you want to hit them with some money, it's almost like on Twitch when they hit affiliate, you can hit them with a subscribe, or use your Amazon subscription thing on them, hook them up kind of thing. So it's very similar to that. A lot of these social sites are taking different parts of other social sites, integrating it into their own to try and create one community on there with all the functions of. It's a copycat world we live in. It's an imitation world that we live in, and that's where you see what's working around you and what the people want, and you try and integrate it into a place that you already have an audience at, and then in hopes have people coming in bigger groups from outside, to now have a part of that platform that they didn't have previously, that they went to Clubhouse for, but they're always on Twitter. And maybe this might be as sufficient. I don't know if it's as scalable as Clubhouse, where like with Twitter Spaces and stuff, but I think Twitter's up to some cool stuff, and I think Twitter's the coolest platform personally. I think it's where you connect with the most people. You can do a lot of different things with Twitter. With that being said, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I tried to dabble in TikTok in a sense. I'm on Sports Me, which will lead us into our next quick ad, which remember to go download the Sports Me app. It's where we're dropping our takes. It's on Android and iOS. So make sure you're checking that out. Apple and Android. There's no excuse for you not to go check it out. And it's where you're dropping takes. It's just like a sports TikTok right now. A lot of innovation coming with it. You can battle one-on-one with certain people for different things. And it's 30 seconds or less. So for anyone there with a goldfish capacity to retain information for very long, we got you. This is less than a minute. Jump on while you're taking a shit in the morning and find out what the fuck people are thinking on Sports Me. So go check it out. Unwrap Sports is on there. Go type in USN in the search bar. You're going to see all of us there. Rum Boys. If Hustler's not on there, we're going to bug him until he does get on there. Caleb, of course, is on there. We're talking about all different types of subjects on there too. There's a lot of fantasy heads on there as well. And you just jump on real quick. Like you could even do it literally, mute this for a second, pass it to Caleb and say, what's up? I'm on Keeping It Blunt, doing my thing. We're talking about this subject. What do you guys think? And opening it up to that community. So go check it out at SportsMe, the first true sports community social platform that's modernized, like TikTok, things along those lines. It's going to be very visually appealing for people that are used to those type of things. So go check out SportsMe. And we're all for the Twitter subscriptions and the Twitter Spaces and all these different things, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So before we move into our Puff Puff Pass, we're going to remind everybody again to go check out mybookie.ag and go sign up with code USN100, sportsbook, live betting, casino, and racing. You can do everything on there. They're going to have bracket contests, all types of stuff. If you haven't signed up yet, USN100 at sign up. It will get you double your money, $50 all the way to $1,000. Go be a degenerate with Unwrap Sports at mybookie.ag. We'd love to see you on there. And if you're looking for any kind of fantasy content, of course, you need to be checking out my boy, Fantasy Football Hustler, right down here. And you can check him out at it's FF Hustler 420 on Twitter, and tell them where they can find you everywhere else, Hustler. Plug what you got going on before we move on to our last segment.
Same handle on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then on YouTube and Twitch. It's just Fantasy Football Hustler spelled out. Apple Podcasts, same. Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm on Discord, so we got a Patreon going as well.
Cool.
I'm 24/7 fantasy football, so that's one thing that I'm doing that I don't think there's anybody who's putting in as much time as me into it. I'm brand new in the game, so I'm building up a community, not necessarily just like pumping out articles or videos, but building a huge community right now, and I'm loving that aspect of it.
You can see it right next to his face right there, FF Hustler 420 on Twitter. And again, find me at Perry Aston and CHS Null. We're going to move into our Puff Puff Pass movie edition, and we're going to let you know how this works here. So if you haven't been with us before, just like Hustler, I haven't broken down to him yet and wanted to do it live, as well as anybody else that's in here right now. We appreciate you watching us, of course, spending your Wednesday night with Caleb and myself. It's always phenomenal. Smoking up a little bit, have a fantastic guest today. So Hustler, we appreciate you coming on, man. You're absolutely phenomenal. And we're going to continue to bring you on closer to fantasy football, rookie draft season for Dynasty, and things along those lines, and continue to talk to you about where you're at there. But Puff Puff Pass, guys, and this is going to get off, onto a different tangent here. So we're going to talk movies today. I set these up. I don't talk to Caleb about them. I just drop them. We just come in. We try to have our raw stuff here to where we can hopefully see if we differ on things. A lot of the time we do. And Puff Puff Pass would be that you're going to puff on two of these three choices, and you're going to pass on one of them. So you can live with two, and one of them you have to choose that you can live without. And today we're going to talk movies. Are you a movie guy, my friend?
I'm a huge movie guy. You have no idea.
Before we move into the choices, what are your all-time favorite movies?
That's pretty tough. I mean, all-time favorite movies, Jackie Brown's got to be one of them from Quentin Tarantino. It's my favorite of his series. It's tough. There's so many, like I can't even put it on one. Like, just put it this way: I have like 2 racks of like 600 DVDs, and at one point I couldn't pick out what to watch, so I just started watching them in alphabetical order.
Nice.
I love that. So I'm gonna move on to the options here for action, comedy, and horror. So you have 3 options. I know it probably differs on your mood, of course. Each night it's going to be different day if you're one of those people that watches movies in the day. But for you guys, right now is the last day you can ever watch a movie, and you can pick 2 and pass on 1. And I'm going to start with our guest hustler. Let me know which 2 that you're going to live with and which one you're going to live without.
This one's easy. It's action and comedy. I'm puffing on, and I'm passing on horror. I'm not a big horror guy. You know, I mean, I like to have a little bit of a plot. I like to have a little bit of a plot with the story. So, I mean, sometimes it might be more in the comedy as long as it's a good story. But yeah, horror would be the one I'm passing on.
Okay, Caleb, I want to hear yours before I go to mine.
All right, so I'm puffing with you, hustler, on action. 100%. That's a go-to. But my favorite like type of movie or genre movie is like drama thriller or like horror thrillers, which like good ones. So you're talking about like trying to think of good like horror movies like Inception. It's like really, really great done, like greatly done.
Is Inception horror or action though?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a horror movie.
It is a horror movie. Why isn't it a horror movie?
I mean, when I think of a horror movie, I think of like
reality.
Yeah.
Are you thinking like
I think like Scream. And I think horror. Or
like like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that.
I'd still go with those because there's some classics, dude.
Sure.
I like horror. I mean, I like comedy too. But
you're puffing on horror and action?
Yeah. And then also when you watch horror, horror movies, like it's like girls like horror movies when they're with a dude, so it's like it works it out.
I am absolutely shocked that you passed on comedy movies. That's most talk of the day.
I just did it to be different because I know you're choosing action and comedy too. So
comedy is number 1. Like, let me just get that out of the fucking way. You know me. I'm a funny fucking guy, and if you don't think I'm funny, fuck you. So comedy is 100% where I'm going. I enjoy Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, all these different guys. Anyone that can put out a funny comedy, all the way back to Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, any of this shit. It's just fun shit. It's always good. There's levels to comedy. You can have bench warmers all the way to some dumb, all the continued line of dumb shit. I think comedy has got to be number 1. The Jim Carrey series every single time, fantastic. You know, one of my favorite actors of all time. So comedy is number 1. I'm going to go action number 2. So horror is, I'll watch a horror movie. I can watch a horror movie. And like Caleb said, specifically, usually when I'm with women or something like that, or it's Halloween time or something like that. But I'm not going to watch horror movies consistently. If I had to go out with 2 movies, I'm not going out with a horror. If it was 2 movies, I'm starting out with an action and I'm going to ride off into the sunset with a comedy. I'm going to laugh my way into oblivion. If this is the last day I can ever watch movies, comedy is going to be my number 1 choice, and action, it's got to be number 2 for me, and then horror's got to be what I pass on today. So we do have Connie in here saying if you watch horror movies, you have no friends. So Caleb, I'm sorry. You have
Connie,
me.
Connie, don't forget you were texting me at like 3 a.m. on a Friday night, bro.
Yeah, you have me. I'm your friend. Don't worry. And I think I can't speak for Hustler. He might hate you, but I think he's a friend of yours as well too. So sorry about that, Connie. But I thought we had a good little difference of opinion here. This was good. A great way to end out that show with our Puff Puff Pass segment. We really appreciate everybody that's commented throughout the show. We're going to sign off today. We had a fantastic time with our boy Alex, fantasy football hustler. He's going to continue doing what he does 24/7. You can catch him at FF Hustler 420 on Twitter, practically everywhere. Fantasy Football Hustler on a couple platforms. but he's putting out a heat all the time, and he's 420 friendly. He's always keeping it chill, great vibes. So you need to check out our boy here for all of your fantasy content. You can see it right next to his face right there, FF Hustler 420. Of course, you can check us out right here, but Caleb and I want you to go follow the Keeping It _Blunt Twitter page. That's where we are posting clips, tweets, different trippy videos, things like that. We have a lot of fun on there. We're going to continue doing more and more on there. Unwrap Sports, Twitter, Instagram. You can find unwrapsports.com. Check us out on TikTok, on SportsMe. Again, you need to check out, just type in the word USN on the SportsMe app. TikTok takes for sports. It's practically what it is. So we know you're all about it. Check us out. We're dropping battles on there, doing our shit. So SportsMe is where we're going to be at. And again, you need to go check us out at our Patreon. If you fuck with us and you want to support what we got going on, patreon.com/unwrapsports is where you can find us. The $1 tier right there, you can support us. We don't have any perks on that, but you can check us out and tell us you love us. $5 will get you into our Discord chat, 10% off the Patreon, or 10% off the Teespring store at teespring.com/store/unwrap for all of our apparel. And you're going to be entered into a $10 Amazon card giveaway. And the VIP, everything you just heard, but 20% off, and the giveaway for a jersey every single month or signed memorabilia piece. We're giving away the Keenan Allen signed jersey tonight, and then we are going to be doing David Montgomery next month. So please go sign up. We appreciate all your support on there. So Caleb, any last words for our people before we give the floor to Hustler and sign off tonight?
Thank you, Hustler, for joining us tonight, man. It was a pleasure having you on. I want to thank you for, spending your hour and 45 minutes with us, man. That's real dedication. We appreciate you. Love to make this connection. Looking forward to, fantasy football type dynasty season. I'm in a couple with Perry, so I'm going to need some advice from you. And we'll go from there, man. I enjoyed having you on. Thank you for everybody tuned in. If you don't turn into my Saturday Standout show right before this, go watch it next week. It's on Wednesdays as well at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Obviously, go follow Keeping It _Blunt on Twitter. It's where we post all kinds of things like Perry was talking about. The Patreon's popping off as well. The Discord's popping off. We got a lot going on, guys. Go just check out everything. You can follow me and Perry personally at our @ right there that you see below us. And yeah, man, I just had a great time. Had fun getting stoned. I feel good right now. This perk was a little bit of change up from what I've been, not being able to smoke.
We canceled a lot of people today. We added a lot of people to our we don't fuck with them list. We did a lot of shit like that. We talked some Showtime stuff, little sports, other news. So I thought it was fun. A lot of weird topics, but definitely a fucking fun show. And Hustler, tell our people where they can find you. I know already you can see it right there, FF Hustler 420, but tell them what you got going on. Plug anything you'd like before we sign off tonight.
Fantasy Football Hustler. It's all I do. 2020, that was when I really started and just took everybody by storm. Q&A sessions. Nobody did as much time with the people as I did. I was doing like 2 to 4 hours on a lot of times because I'm a man of the people. I'm giving back my time, and it may not be in articles, but it's going to be in Vice in one way or another. A lot of it's in video and podcast form. Got a huge community going on Patreon. I got Modern Memorabilia who's sponsoring us with a couple more giveaways. We're doing replica ring giveaways. So we just gave away the winner actually just got it. He got a 1995 Dallas Cowboy ring.
Man, I'm so jealous right now. I'm serious right now. If you didn't give that to me personally, I would have driven to you and went and got that. Oh my God. Wow, you gotta check that out 100%. Check out everything that he's got going on. He's got Hustler in his name for a reason. He's hustling more than anybody out there. 420 in there because he wants you to know he's 420 friendly. Caleb and I are so 420 friendly. It hurts. We're here every Wednesday. 6 p.m. is what we're keeping it going. Schedules are getting a little crazy for me right now, so I'm going to see if Wednesday is going to be our day moving forward. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it works. I've been here, made sure me and Caleb have not missed a week so far. We made it happen. We're having a great time. 8 episodes deep. The last 2 months have been quite phenomenal. Remember, we're going to see you next Wednesday, and always keep it blunt, guys. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much.
See you guys.